Everyone around him was winning, but he felt like he was disappearing. Have you ever felt that way? If yes, listen carefully, because this story is not only about him, it is about you. Everywhere you look, people show their success. Someone is richer, someone is more beautiful, someone has better grades, a better phone, a better body, a better life. And slowly, very slowly, you start to compare. You compare your real life with their best moments. You compare your pain with their smiles. You compare your beginning with their results. And one day, you forget who you are. Today, I want to tell you the story of a boy who forgot his value. A boy who believed everyone was ahead of him. His name was Ethan. He was 17 years old, second year of high school, skinny, quiet, invisible, not bad, not great, just there. That is how he felt every day. Ethan didn't hate his life, but he hated comparing it. At school, Ethan tried his best, but it never felt enough. There was Liam. Liam always got the highest marks. Ethan studied too, but Liam always won. And Liam looked relaxed, like it was easy. Then there was Chris. Strong body, nice face, new shoes, a girlfriend. Ethan had 2 old shirts, no messages, no attention. And then there was Sophia. Ethan liked her, a lot, but Sophia liked boys like Liam, and boys like Chris, not boys like Ethan. So every night, Ethan told himself the same words, I am not enough. And every morning, he wore those words like clothes. At first, it was only thoughts, but thoughts don't stay quiet forever. They change behavior. Ethan stopped raising his hand in class. What's the point? He thought. He stopped meeting friends. They all have better lives, he told himself. He stopped caring about his body. Why try? He said in the mirror. He scrolled on his phone for hours, liking other people's happiness, hating his own reflection. Ethan was not lazy. He was not weak. He was tired. Tired of feeling small. Tired of feeling behind. Tired of feeling invisible. At home, his parents asked, How was school? Ethan smiled and said, Fine. But inside his mind, a dark question lived. If I disappear, will anyone notice? Because when you compare yourself every day, you start to believe your life has no value. Ethan's biggest problem was not that others were successful. His biggest problem was this belief. If they are winning, I must be losing. But Ethan didn't know one important truth. Life is not a race. Everyone walks on a different road, and very soon, something small would happen, something simple, something that would change the way Ethan sees himself forever. In part 2, Ethan will face a moment that forces him to choose. Keep comparing, or finally start becoming. Some people reach early, some people reach late. But Ethan didn't know that. No one ever told him. Ethan believed one thing. To be happy, he had to be like Liam. To be loved, he had to look like Chris. To be successful, he had to live like Mason, and every day, trying to be them. He lost himself. He lost his smile. He lost his joy. He lost his belief. Belief that he was worthy of love. Belief that he was worthy of success. Belief that he was worthy of attention. He didn't want to be Ethan anymore. He just wanted to be someone else. That is the danger of comparison. It doesn't break you fast. It breaks you slowly. One night, Ethan lay in his bed. The room was dark. The ceiling was quiet. He whispered, very softly, Why am I even here? What's the use of trying? I will never be the best. Why was I made like this? He wasn't angry. He wasn't crying. He was empty. And that is what comparison really does. It doesn't only make you jealous. It makes you feel invisible. It tells you you're behind. You're late. You're not enough. You are nothing. And if you believe that for too long, you start to disappear inside. Ethan was falling, but no one saw it. Because comparison is silent. It doesn't scream. It whispers. It hides behind smiles. It hides behind jokes. Ethan still went to school, still nodded in class, still submitted his homework, but something was missing. His light, his spirit, his identity. Every morning the same question lived in his mind. Why try? Why run a race I already lost? Why be Ethan when no one sees Ethan? The normal day that changes everything. It was a Thursday. Nothing special, but sometimes the biggest changes start on normal days. That day, Ethan forgot his lunch, so he sat alone on a bench near the back wall of the school. A quiet place, a place no one noticed, just like him. Then he heard laughter, far away. It was Liam and Chris, the perfect boys. They were joking, recording videos, talking about parties, vacations, followers, fun. Ethan sat behind the wall, listening, not with anger, but with something worse, hopelessness. He whispered to himself, "They are living. I am just existing. They are chosen. I am forgotten. They are moving forward. I am stuck." That night, Ethan didn't eat dinner. He told his mom, "I have a headache." He went to his room, closed the door, sat in the dark. Thoughts attacked his mind. I will never be successful. My parents expect more. I am just average. No one sees me. No one understands me. Then, a memory appeared. When Ethan was 8 years old, he drew a rocket ship. He told his mom, "One day, I will fly high." For 1 second, he smiled. Then the smile disappeared, because now at 17 he didn't believe he could even leave the ground. The night walk. At 11 p.m., Ethan left the house. No plan, no message, no goodbye, only pain. The road was empty, the wind was cold, the sky was full of stars, but Ethan never looked up. He just walked, and walked, and walked, until he reached an old bus stop, broken, forgotten, silent, and there, on the wall, was an old mirror, cracked, dirty, ignored. Ethan stood in front of it. For the first time in a long time, he looked into his own eyes. He didn't see a boy. He didn't see strength. He didn't see potential. He saw failure, disappointment, weakness. But that mirror was about to show him something else, something painful, something honest, something true. In part 3, Ethan will face the moment that either destroys him. Sometimes, change doesn't arrive loudly. It arrives quietly, like a thought you cannot ignore. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. He kept hearing one sentence in his mind. Maybe you are seeing yourself through the wrong glass. Again, and again, and again. Was he wrong about himself? Maybe he wasn't weak. Maybe he wasn't late. Maybe he wasn't broken. Maybe he was just looking in the wrong mirror. All his life, Ethan had used borrowed mirrors. The mirror of social media, the mirror of perfect classmates, the mirror of likes, trophies, and timelines. And all of them were broken. They showed everyone else, but never him. That night, something small changed. He wasn't healed. He wasn't strong. But a seed was planted, and seeds don't grow loudly. They grow silently. The next morning, Ethan woke up before his alarm. That never happened before. Usually mornings were heavy. They meant another day of comparison, another day of feeling behind. But this morning felt different. Not happy, not confident, just quiet. His mind was not shouting. The old man's words were still there. Soft, calm. You are seeing yourself through the wrong glass. Ethan sat on the edge of his bed, and for the first time, he asked himself a new question. What if I stop comparing just for today? Not forever, not for life, just one day. The walk to school. On the way to school, Ethan noticed something strange. Nothing had changed. The same road, the same buildings, the same people. But he had changed. For the first time, he wasn't searching for people better than him. He wasn't asking, who is richer? Who is smarter? Who is ahead? He was just walking, and in that silence, he realized something painful and powerful. Comparison was stealing his energy. Not people, not life. Comparison, every thought, like, they are better than me. I'm late. I'm behind, was draining him. At school, Ethan still saw Liam, still saw Chris, still saw Mason. They didn't disappear, but something else did, the need to be them. In class, Ethan raised his hand, not to be the best, not to impress, just to try. His voice shook, but he spoke, and nothing bad happened. No one laughed, no one attacked him. The world didn't end. During lunch, Ethan sat alone again, but this time he wasn't hiding. He watched the sky, he breathed, and he thought, I am here. That simple thought felt new. I am here, not winning, not losing, just existing. And maybe that was enough for today. That afternoon, Ethan walked home slower. Not because he was sad, but because he was thinking. Maybe life was not asking him to be perfect. Maybe it was asking him to be honest. Maybe he didn't need to run faster. Maybe he needed to look inside. Ethan didn't know where his road would lead. He still had fears. He still had doubts. But for the first time, he stopped running someone else's race. In Part 4, Ethan will take his first real step toward becoming himself. And it will not be big. It will not be loud. But it will be real. Ethan did not become famous. He did not become rich. But he became something much harder. He became himself. Months passed. Slow months. Quiet months. No fireworks. No big announcements. But change was happening. Ethan was no longer the boy hiding in the back of the class. But he wasn't a star either. He wasn't the top student. He wasn't popular. He wasn't perfect. And for the first time, that didn't scare him. Ethan stopped chasing applause. He started chasing progress. Every day he did small things. He studied even when no one noticed. He exercised even when no one watched. He learned even when no one praised him. Not to compete, to build. He still saw Liam succeed. Still saw Chris get attention. Still saw Mason post perfect photos. But something was different. Ethan didn't feel small anymore. When comparison tried to return, he asked himself one question. Am I better than yesterday? Not better than them, better than yesterday. At school, his grades improved slowly. Not because he was smarter, but because he was focused. He spoke more in class. Sometimes he was right. Sometimes he was wrong. But he spoke, and his voice no longer felt useless. Inner victory. No one clapped. But Ethan did not need claps anymore. At home, his parents noticed change. Not in results, in energy. He smiled more. He walked straighter. He looked present. One evening, his mom asked, "Are you okay?" And for the first time, Ethan answered honestly, yes. Ethan still had doubts. Some nights, fear returned. Some mornings, comparison knocked. But now, it didn't live inside him, because Ethan had learned something powerful. Comparison lies. It tells you others are ahead, but it never shows their struggle. It shows their results, but hides their process. Ethan stopped watching other people's finish lines. He started building his own road. He understood this truth. You don't need to be the best. You need to be real. Ethan didn't win a trophy, but he won something bigger. Respect for himself, and that changed everything. Final message to the listener. If you feel behind, you are not late. If you feel invisible, you still matter. If you are tired of comparing, stop looking at broken mirrors. Start looking at your own path, because you were never born to compete. You were born to become. Ethan was not the best, but he was free. Nothing around him had changed. His classmates still had new phones. Chris still looked perfect. Liam still had the highest grades. Sophia still laughed with someone else. But Ethan did not feel small anymore. He didn't feel behind. He didn't feel late. He didn't feel invisible. Because he finally understood something the world rarely teaches. You don't need to become a better version of someone else. You only need to become the real version of yourself. And when you do that, you win a game most people don't even know they are playing. Hard, emotional truth. Ethan didn't change overnight. There was no magic moment, no sudden confidence. Change took time. It took effort. It took pain. But every day Ethan made small choices. He woke up earlier. He studied with focus. He ate better. He trained his body and his mind. Not for attention, for himself. He didn't talk about his goals. He built them quietly. Because Ethan learned something important. Comparison is loud. Transformation is silent. Instead of watching other people's lives, he started working on his own. Instead of scrolling for hours, he wrote his thoughts. He practiced skills. He learned. And when jealousy appeared, he asked a new question. What can I learn from this? That question changed everything. He turned jealousy into curiosity, curiosity into effort, effort into growth. Ethan stopped saying, I wish I was like him. I wish I had more. I wish I was born different. He started saying, this is my story. Let me write it well. I am improving. In the last week of school, a talent show was announced. Ethan's heart beat faster. Years ago, he used to write songs, but he never shared them. Back then, he believed he wasn't good enough. This time was different. He didn't want to win. He just wanted to show up for himself. So he signed up. He wrote a simple song, nothing perfect, just honest. On the final day, Ethan stood on the stage, alone, hands shaking, heart racing. The room was full. He took a deep breath and remembered one truth. Your voice doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be yours. He started singing. His voice cracked. Some people whispered. Some laughed quietly. But Ethan kept going. And at the end, the room was silent. Not because he was the best, but because he was real. Then came applause. Not loud, not crazy, but honest, respectful. For the first time, Ethan felt seen. Not as a copy, but as himself. He didn't win the competition. Liam did. And Ethan smiled. A real smile. Because now he understood. When someone else shines, it doesn't make you dim. When someone else wins, it doesn't mean you lose. You don't need a spotlight. You just need to walk your path. That night, Ethan sat on his bed with a small notebook. He wrote one final sentence. I am not here to compete. I am here to become. No awards, no fame, no dramatic ending. Just peace. And peace is the loudest success of all. Final message to the listener. Maybe you are Ethan right now. Maybe you are comparing your body, your grades, your job, your life. Maybe you feel behind, but you are not late. You're on your path. The more you watch others, the more you lose yourself. But the moment you stop comparing, you will hear your own voice, and that voice is your power. You were never meant to copy. You were meant to become. So walk your path. Not louder, not faster, just truer. Because the world doesn't need another copy. The world needs you. And that is the strongest success of all. Not money, not fame, not applause, freedom. Now you know Ethan's story. You saw how comparison slowly destroyed his peace, his confidence, his happiness. But a story alone is not enough. Now it's your turn. Let's talk about how you stop comparing. Step by step. Step 1. Notice the moment you cannot stop comparison if you don't see it. And here is the truth. Most people compare without even knowing it. You open your phone. You scroll. Someone looks happier. Someone earns more. Someone lives better. And suddenly, a thought appears. They are ahead. I am late. I'm not doing enough. In 1 second, your energy drops. Your motivation disappears. Your peace is gone. Comparison is not loud. It doesn't shout. It whispers. And that makes it dangerous. The solution is simple. Catch it. The moment your chest feels heavy, pause. Ask yourself, am I comparing right now? Who am I measuring myself against? Write it down if you need. Because comparison only survives in darkness. The moment you see it, it starts losing power. Awareness gives you control. Without it, comparison controls you. Step 2. Remember, social media is a movie. Let's be honest. You don't only compare with people near you anymore. You compare with the whole world. Perfect bodies, luxury trips, teenagers with millions, happy couples, successful creators, all on one screen. But ask yourself, is this real life? Or is this a highlight clip? People don't post their failures, their fears, their loneliness, their debt, their sleepless nights. They post the best 1%. You are comparing your full life to someone else's edited moment. That will always make you feel behind. So what do? Limit your scrolling. Unfollow what makes you feel small. Follow what makes you grow. Use social media as a tool, not a mirror. Real life is not measured in likes. Real life is built quietly. Step 3. Change comparison into curiosity. This step changes everything. Don't just stop comparing. Replace it. When you feel jealous, don't fight it. Ask a better question. What can I learn from this instead of, they are better than me? Ask, what are they doing that I can try? Jealousy is not your enemy. It's information. It shows you what you care about. Use it. Turn comparison into learning, learning into action, action into growth. Step 4. Measure progress, not position. Stop asking, where am I compared to them? Start asking, am I better than yesterday? Compare yourself to past you, your habits, your discipline, your effort. If today you are 1% better than yesterday, you are winning, even if no one sees it. Step 5. Build in silence. You don't need to announce growth. You don't need approval. You need consistency. Wake up earlier. Practice your skill. Take care of your body. Learn one thing every day, quietly. Comparison is loud. Growth is silent. Final message. Maybe you are Ethan right now. Always comparing. Always feeling behind. Always feeling small. But listen carefully. You are not late. You are on your path. Stop watching other people's chapters. Start writing your own. The moment you stop comparing is the moment you start living. Not louder, not faster, truer. Because the world doesn't need another copy. The world needs you. Final affirmation, perfect for ending the video. I will stop comparing my chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10. I will build quietly. I will grow slowly. I will live honestly. I am not here to compete. I am here to become.